Well, hello there, everybody. 'Tis I, Photo Dave, and this is Toypixx. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, Toypixx is all about helping you and me improve our action figure photography. So I'll be talking about, well, a lot about action figures. I'll also be talking quite a bit about photo equipment, tips, tutorials, Photoshop, lighting, all the stuff that goes into making our action figure photos pretty awesome. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and hit subscribe. Waiting, hang on. I do loves me my tea. I'm going to try and get this video recorded before the tea goes cold. Wish me luck. Anywho, now, the topic of this video is 10 toys I want to see. They're things that haven't been announced. Nobody said they're coming out or anything like that. Just 10 toys I want to see from different manufacturers. Things I think would really be cool in the old collection. So with that out of the way, cue that beautiful intro. Now, most of these, they're not really in order, but I will say this first one I'm about to mention, number one, the one that I would really like to hear somebody say they're making, and by somebody that would be Mafex, is a Jim Lee style Wonder Woman. Now, don't worry, I'm not saying Jim Lee because I don't think anybody else can do Wonder Woman. Perez has done Wonder Woman very nicely. A whole lot of artists have done Wonder Woman very nicely. But the fact is, right now, what Mafex is putting out is almost exclusively Jim Lee stuff. I mean, when we're talking about the X-Men and Hush line specifically. So it would be nice to get a Wonder Woman in the Jim Lee art style so she could go with Batman and Superman. Because, hey, who doesn't want to complete that trinity? Now, this next figure might surprise you a little bit, especially considering recently Hasbro announced that they're, again, renewing their contract with Lucasfilm and are going to be doing an Indiana Jones line. I've wanted an Indiana Jones line for a long time, but I gotta say, I'm a little concerned. The way Hasbro's stuff's been going, unless they own the brand, is I feel like a lot of corners get cut, sometimes intentionally even. So I guess my next want, and again, these aren't in order except that first one, but one I'd like to see on my shelf is a Mezco Indiana Jones. Now, because I have really whittled down my collection quite a bit, I don't sit back and think to myself, I'm going to even get entire lines or entire teams or anything like that. I'm not worried about that. If I just got Indiana Jones, I'd be pretty geeked. Now, obviously, Henry Jones Sr. would be nice to get. Sala would be a blast. Let's see, Elsa would be kind of cool. But here's something else. Hasbro's going to try and do an Indiana Jones line when in 2 of his original 3 movies, his enemies were the Nazis. How are they going to do that? Hasbro's not going to put a Nazi symbol on somebody's arm. But who knows? Maybe nobody else is either. Anyway, let's go Indiana Jones. Yay! I don't know what you think, but I think that Mafex is absolutely killing it with their Hush line. And you know who's a glaring omission from their Hush line? And yeah, it's somebody that I've heard Robo talk about a couple times. It's Robin, man. We need a Robin. Now, I'm the first guy to think to myself, Batman works way better as a loner, but there is something about the man needing a boy wonder sometimes. And frankly, I don't have a Robin in my collection. The closest I'll have, I did pre-order Mafex's Nightwing, So that's kind of like having a Robin, because he was the first Robin, and he's going to be a great figure, but man, we need a Robin for old Bats, and that, of course, takes me to the next thing I'd like to see toy-wise. Ooh, what could that be? This next one, something that I'm not sure anyone will ever make. I just don't know. Maybe McFarlane will make something that kind of is close and might be close enough, but it's a Batmobile to fit my Mafex Hush Batman and hopefully eventual Hush Robin. And if not, maybe Hush Nightwing. I want a Batmobile badly. It is arguably, at least in my head, yeah, I was thinking about there. Sorry. It is arguably the only vehicle that is necessary in comics. Now, I know some people might say something like the Fantastic Car, they might say the Invisible Jet, they might even say the Party Wagon for the Turtles, and all those are great calls, and yes, I would argue that those are huge things for their respective characters, but nothing holds the weight of the Batmobile. And I don't even care what kind. As long as it's not the 66 or before, I'm good. I'd love to throw the Hush Batman in a Tim Burton style 89 Batman movie Batmobile. Still my favorite design, bar none. I even like the design of the Superpowers Batmobile. Upscale that bad boy. Let's throw him in there. I'm just not picky. Give me a tumbler. I'm good to go. I just want a Batmobile. I want somebody to make something that's going to fit my Mafex Batman and somebody else. And I don't know that I'm ever going to see a vehicle from Mafex, so I'm relying on any other company out there. Please? Pretty please? Look at that face. How can you? Never mind. Don't look at this face. Just hear the words Batmobile for my Mafex figures. Now, next on the list, and no, I still don't have my 3.0 MDLX Bumblebee, but I'm still going to fire this one off. I would like to see from 3.0 an MDLX Starscream. Oh, yeah. Imagine with the stylization they're going with their G1 line right now, how cool old Screamer would look. And, check this out. Check this. Shh, don't tell anybody, but check this out. You get Thundercracker and Skywarp out of the same mold too. I mean, 3.0 loves their stuff. They love doing whatever. It's all right, guys. I will totally be on board if you just recolor Starscream, because that's what the original line was. I'd really love to see those Seekers make that line. Okay, no more creepy just looks into the camera. Sorry. Next up, ready for this one? I don't think I've ever heard somebody else suggest this. Doesn't mean they haven't, I just haven't heard it yet. Mezco Mephisto. Yeah, I saw Mezco's Ghost Rider. I pre-ordered Mezco's Ghost Rider. Mezco's Ghost Rider is paid for, and I thought to myself, man, I don't think Mafex is going to do something like Ghost Rider. And I definitely don't think they're going to do something like Mephisto. I'm not even sure Marvel Legends is going to do something like Mephisto, but you know who does freaky, scary, frightening characters really well and already has the Marvel license? Ladies and gentlemen, that would be Mezco. I'm thinking if we're going to get a Mephisto, we're going to get it from those guys. Man, would he be sweet. And now, one of the other reasons that I called it a toy list instead of an action figure list, another vehicle I would love to see from G.I. Joe Classified, an Awe Striker. Give it all the modern tweaks, make it look cool, make it look today. It doesn't need to look way back when, just as long as I can look at it and be like, oh hey, that's an updated Awe Striker. I'll be cool. I mean, I love that thing, and it fits my beloved 1985 year. Another vehicle that would be awesome, there's the Silver Mirage. And at this point, I'm just going to start wish listing, but the Hiss tank would be sweet. Imagine a HasLab with like a Vamp and a Hiss tank. How many of those bad boys would people buy? People would be buying like 3 or 4 or 5 of those things. That would be ridiculous. The money would be ridiculous. And our collections, well, we'd need bigger rooms, and that would be ridiculous. Anyway, Yaw Striker, updated, modernized, awesome sauce. Hang on, I'm gonna take a sip. All right, next. So the next thing I'd like to see is actually a re-release. And it's not the re-release you might be thinking, considering I'm talking Mafex and still don't have that original Spidey. No, it is in fact a re-release of the Diaclone reboot Battle Convoy. I want that thing badly. I missed out on it. I saw there was one Japanese site I saw that still had it, but I thought, okay, I'm going to save up my money. I'm going to get it for, I think the price would have been with shipping likely around $440, $450. Too much, no doubt. My guess is it probably came out around $300, but I really want that thing, and now it's looking more like $600, and that makes me sad and makes my wallet cry. So that's something I'd like to see. But if I don't see it, that's all right. I'm looking at getting the Toypixx Patreon going again, and well, if I do that, one of those there stretch goals, whatever, might be that Battle Convoy. Good times. And another 3-0 MDLX figure I'd like to see, partially because of repaint potential, but partially because I had him as a kid and just thought he was awesome, would be an MDLX Prowl. Yeah, the police car. The guy with Duke's voice. Didn't like Duke. Liked Prowl. Very strange. But I love that figure. And in fact, when he came out in the Masterpiece line, I got him along with a lot of Masterpiece stuff until it went totally cartoon accurate. That made me sad, which might be why I like the MDLX line so much. It's not at all cartoon accurate. It's doing its own thing, but it's still making sure that when you look at them, man, they look like the characters they're supposed to represent. And let's not forget, I mean, speaking of repaint potential for this guy, you could get Blue Streak out of them. And that would be sweet. Not to mention Diaclone variants and all that. I don't know, really, if 3-0 would give a smokescreen out of them just because they had kind of different looks in the cartoon. Not big time, but slightly different. I'm just not sure. But I wouldn't be mad if they repainted them a second time to give a smokescreen either. Oh, imagine. You got Prowl, you got Blue Streak, you got Smokescreen, you got Starscream, you got Skywarp, you got Thundercracker. Just 2 molds, 6 figures. Whoo! Look at me, 3-0. I'm saving you cash and making sure that you're making figures that, well, at least I'll buy. And last, but certainly not least, everyone's favorite non-Jedi from the Clone Wars, from Rebels, from The Mandalorian, and yes, soon, from her own Disney Plus TV series. Folks, I'm talking about Ahsoka Tano, and I would love it if SH Figuarts decided, hey, the people want an Ahsoka Tano. I sounded wasted there. They wanted us, so, believe me, this is just green tea. But no, I want an Ahsoka Tano, badly. And I know that SHF would nail it. They just seem to have something about lightness and about just character design that they seem to follow really closely. I'd love her look from The Mandalorian. I'd take her look from pretty much any media. Ahsoka's a great character and one that I think any Star Wars nerd, including myself, really kind of realizes is pretty bad A, even if we didn't necessarily think so when she started. So that's it, folks. That's my list of 10 toys I'd really like to see added to my collection. And for anyone playing the home game, the tea's not still hot, but it is still kind of lukewarm, so I did okay on recording that stuff. Yay! Now, in the comments, let me know what you thought of my list. And if you're not at all a fan of my list, that's cool. I'm not worried. Everybody gets their own picks here. We're all inclusive like that. So let me know what your list looks like. Maybe you've got something that I'm going to look at and go, oh, that would totally be awesome. That would make us all happy. Although it would also mean I'd have to spend more money, and well, don't do that to me now. So anyway, there you go. Like, Subscribe if you dug the video, if you're digging what I'm talking about, and hey, everybody have fun and happy snapping. See ya.